funny. We were golfing yesterday.
Right.
I yelled at your card. I was like, hey, that one event you did, how did it go? What was the offer? And then the guy that was carding with me was like, hey, what did you mean when you asked Myron?
What is the offer?
I guess it's a new concept, even though it's
an age-old concept.
An age-old concept.
Everybody doesn't have the same thing to offer. Everybody has something to offer. My offer doesn't start in here. My offer starts out in the marketplace. My offer starts with what are people looking for? What solutions are they seeking?
You started charging more for the same thing and the same amount of people were buying.
More people were buying.
More people were buying.
More people were buying. And more people who would actually do the work were buying.
Can you first define what is an offer?
I was hoping you were going to ask that question.
Yeah.
My job is to create a process as an offer that can help you achieve this desire that you have more quickly, more efficiently, more effectively, with less human effort, and more completely than any other solution you've ever found. And then the value is this big and the price is this big. It becomes an easy yes for you.
Myron, thank you so much for being back on the podcast.
My pleasure, bro. My pleasure. Always good to hang out with you, Omar.
I think you were episode 11, which is
what
crazy.
Episode is this?
This will probably be like 40, 39, 40.
39. Okay, let's go.
And that conversation almost has 200,000 views.
Let's go.
And
let's have a conversation interesting enough to watch 200,000 times again.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are someone I would deem an expert at offer creation. I think you say the best skill that you can possess is how to, come up with an offer, convey it, and convert it.
Right. Create, convey, and convert an offer. Yeah. It's the most profitable skill for sure. At least one of them that you can.
But what's so funny? We were golfing yesterday.
Right.
And you did an event a few months ago.
Right.
And I yelled at your card. I was like, hey, that one event you did, how did it go?
Right.
And then you said it was pretty good. We did this. And I was like, what was the offer?
Right.
And you were like, oh, we did. It was called this. It was this much.
Right.
And then the guy that was carding with me was like, hey, what did you mean when you asked Myron?
What is the offer?
What is the offer? And this, I guess it's a new concept, even though it's an
age-old concept.
An age-old concept.
Yeah.
And we talk about so much about how content creators are people who have built an audience, which kind of could be the hardest part.
Oh yeah.
In the process, building the brand.
Sure.
But like not knowing what you can sell them, not knowing what you can't sell.
I think the hardest part is the part you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
Right. So if you know how to build the audience,
it's
like,
easy, yeah.
so, and what I mean by that is a lot of people know how to create offers, but they don't know how to build an audience.
Mm-hmm,
right. So to them, the building the audience is the hardest part. But a lot of people know how to build an audience. They just don't know how to create an offer. So for them, creating the offer is going to be the hardest part.
Yeah. So I have a few people in the back of my mind having this conversation. So you're welcome if that's you, but can you first define what is an offer?
I was hoping you were going to ask that question.
Yeah.
So an offer, this is the Myron Golden definition of an offer. You're not going to find this in any dictionary except for the Myron Golden definition of entrepreneurial terms, which does not exist. So you're not going to find it.
Okay. Eventually you're going to have an encyclopedia.
Who knows? Who knows? Okay. So an offer is the opportunity you give a potential client to exercise their desire to buy or otherwise obtain the thing or the things you've helped them realize they've desired all along.
Wow.
At a price that you previously decided on and they've subsequently agreed to, which they now expect to use to make their experience of life exponentially better. That's an offer.
That is so good. And I think, it sounds like you can say it one more time.
I could say it 10 more times.
Say it one more time.
Okay. Do you want me to break it down as I say it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So an offer is the opportunity you give a potential client. So it's the opportunity. So which means I'm not begging you to do it. I'm not convincing you to do it.
Yep.
I'm not attempting to talk you into doing it. It's an opportunity. Tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me now I got to go. It's like, it's an offer. It's an opportunity. You can say yes or no to an opportunity. There's no gun to your head. There's nobody twisting your arm. It's just a chance to say yes or no. Okay. So it's an opportunity you give a potential client. So this is a person who's not a client yet. They've not bought anything from you yet. And you're giving them the opportunity, or they might be a client or potential client, which means they've either bought something from you or they haven't, but they're contemplating it, to exercise their desire to buy. Now, I think that's one of the most important parts about the offer is too many people think that presenting things to people that they have no desire for is an offer. That's not an offer. That's an interruption.
Wow. That's good.
Okay. And what I mean by that is people ask me all the time, they say, Myron, how do I find people to sell my stuff to? And my answer is always the same. That's not a very good question. And if you'll allow me, I'll give you a better question. And they always say, well, yeah, give me a better question. How can I make myself more findable for people who already desire to buy what I already desire to sell? Because looking for people to buy your stuff is exhausting. What I mean by that is you got to go through all these people who you have no idea anything about them. And so now you've got to sort through all these people to try to find a handful of people who might want to buy what you want to sell. That's exhausting. But what if we started from the perspective that there are already tens or hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions or hundreds of millions or even billions of people in the world already who would love to buy what you'd love to sell if they only knew you existed. So that's why I say it's the opportunity you give a potential client to exercise their desire to buy. My offer doesn't start in here. My offer starts in there. My offer starts out in the marketplace. My offer starts with what are people looking for? What solutions are they seeking?
Yes.
That's a more valid question than what have I made? What do I know? What would I like to sell?
Right.
Okay. So that's number one.
And this is that concept actually gets exposed with people who want to make a course. They want to sit down and shoot it before even consulting anybody.
Before having a conversation with a single soul who might or might not desire it.
Right.
Right. Which doesn't, I guess it's a good exercise in execution, but it's a really bad exercise in effectiveness because you don't know if anybody desires it to have it executed.
Right.
Right.
And
so
yeah, that's really good. And I do like how you say opportunity because like you've opened my eyes to this. I see when people don't have an offer that you're actually robbing yourself and the person you're serving 100% of an opportunity.
Of an opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you don't give them an opportunity, they still have a desire to take advantage of something.
Yeah.
Like everybody who's working right now at their job, they already have a when I get paid, I'm going to buy list. Our job is to figure out how we can get on more people's lists.
That's good.
As opposed to finding people and attempting to get them to put us on their list and they don't know anything about us. Okay.
Okay.
So exercise their desire to buy. Okay. So it's the opportunity you give a potential client or a client to exercise their desire to buy or otherwise obtain. Some of the offers that we have, they don't pay for with their money. They pay for with their name, email address, and phone number, like in an opt-in funnel, or they just pay for it with their attention, like on a YouTube video. A YouTube video is an offer.
That's good.
Right? The thumbnail is the hook. And then the intro might be the story. And then the open loop might be the offer, right? So like even a YouTube video it's an offer, right? And they pay for it with their attention. Okay. So it's the opportunity you give a potential client to exercise their desire to buy or otherwise obtain. In other words, pay attention to your YouTube video, opt into an opt-in funnel, or otherwise obtain the thing or the things that you've helped them realize they've desired all along. Now, what do I mean when I say you've helped them realize they've desired all along? People know that they desire outcomes. They don't know exactly all the time the process that they desire to get to that outcome. It's my job to figure out the process to get them the outcome. But the objective is the outcome, not the process. And that's where I think a lot of inventors, creators, artists, entrepreneurs make a mistake. I've always wanted to do this thing. I've always wanted to sing this song. I've always wanted to create this thing. And instead of saying, there are people out there who've always desired to have this result, and I've figured out the most elegant process to get them this result.
So good.
Right? So their desire to buy or otherwise obtain the thing or the things, we've helped them realize they've desired all along at a price that they, like before, for instance, you knew you had a desire to make more money as an entrepreneur.
100.
Right? But did you know before you came into our coaching program that you had a desire for $100,000 a day? Had that thought even ever entered your mind?
No.
Right. So it's a desire that you had, but you weren't aware of the fact that you had it. You just knew you wanted more of something that in the financial arena. You didn't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So when you came into our space, we helped you realize more clearly what that was by showing you what's possible and what other people who you, and all of us are the same, who you perceived were not necessarily as smart as you and not necessarily as good as you. Well, they did it. I can do it. 100. So those are some of the ways that we help people realize things, right? So you've helped them realize they've desired all along. So the desire was already in them before you met them.
That's so good.
At a price that you previously decided on. So if they can decide on the outcome they desire apart from me, and I create the solution, I can decide on the price apart from them. And then they can tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me now I got to go. I don't have to sit here and justify or rationalize or beg or plead or congeal or force or high pressure. Everybody's a yes. I look at people like this. They're already a yes or they're already a no.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no desire to change either one of those. I just desire to know sooner rather than later, because for me, way more exhausting and torturous is a forever maybe than a hard no. Just tell me no.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with it. So at a price that you just previously decided on and they've subsequently agreed to, okay, so now they agree to the price because in their minds, getting this result is worth more than the money they have to pay to get it, which they now expect to use to make their experience of life exponentially better. So for instance, I hate to keep using you, but
no,
you're the one that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So little over a year ago, you came into our coaching program and you're like, okay, well, this sounds feasible. And so let's see what happens. And only you know if it turned out better, worse, or exactly how you expected it to turn out.
Right.
But
it was better.
It was better. Right. Yeah. And so, but my job is to create a process as an offer, create a process that can help you achieve this desire that you have more quickly, more efficiently, more effectively, with less human effort, and more completely than any other solution you've ever found. And then if the value is this big and the price is this big, it becomes an easy yes for you.
It's really good.
So that's the whole breakdown of the whole my definition of an offer.
No,
that's how I came up with it.
It's so good. I think where people get stuck is, and I think it's a skill to be able to uncover a value.
Sure.
And sometimes you're so close to the work or you're so close to how you've helped people in the past that you see it, it's very surface level, the exchange. So let's just, in my context, like I've helped people with video.
Sure.
If I end there, there's really no value in that unless you make that connection yourself as a client.
Right.
But if I say I help you build your personal brands and increase awareness to your business, and what would it look like if you just did 10%, 15% more business a year without chasing clients, but they were coming to you, what would that look like?
Sure.
I've had to grow in my ability to see that and explain it.
And say it. Yes.
And
see it and say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, question for you. What would your business look like if it got the attention that it deserved? You probably wouldn't even have a business problem. Most people don't have a business problem. They have an awareness problem. This is why you're invited to join me on the next Content to Cash challenge that is coming up. In 5 days, you're gonna be getting the system that I have implemented in my business that's allowed me to be a part-time 7-figure entrepreneur. Yes, because I built my personal brand online, it's opened up opportunity, but more importantly, it's given me more time to spend with my family and my community. The link to join this challenge is down in the description below, and I want to encourage you to take the VIP experience where I'll be doing 1 hour of Q&A every day of the challenge, and nowhere else do I avail myself in this capacity. And so I hope to see you on the Content to Cash challenge coming up.
And what's really interesting, when you look at, like, when you're creating an offer and you're thinking about, okay, who is this offer going to be good for? It's about learning to think from the marketplace more than thinking of the marketplace. So I don't start my business in here, right? I start my business with conversations with people who have a hole in their soul or in some aspect of their life. How can I figure out an elegant solution for this? And none of us are good at everything.
Yeah, right.
Fortunately, all of us are good at something. And there are other people who desire to be good at the stuff you're good at. Like, I'm thinking of questions I have. Like, I'm looking at some of this equipment you're using for this podcast right now, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, we got a little bit of background noise coming from outside, right? With the ocean and the trees and the breeze. But none of that noise is coming. I mean, you interviewed me in a conference in a hallway with so much background noise. I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Right. And so you've got your equipment, and I'm like, I don't know how to do what you're doing right now. I mean, I know how to have a conversation, but what you're doing right now with a portable podcast, I don't know how to do this. Right. So that causes me to say, oh man, I need to ask Omar, what's that thing over there? And what's that thing over there? And what kind of microphones are these? And, all of that stuff comes to mind so that when I'm traveling and I'm doing interviews with people, we have the best possible scenario with regard to audio and video. Does that make sense?
100. Is how do you determine that price usually.
Yeah. So you said you made a statement about value, right?
Yeah.
People who are creators don't know how to articulate value. Well, one of the reasons they don't know how to articulate value is because they don't understand where value comes from. Okay. So I'm going to help everybody understand where value, like everybody uses the word, but nobody defines it, or nobody talks about like what it really means. So value comes from values. In other words, you're going to value things based on what your values are. So the underlying question, the root question when it comes to creating an offer, when it comes to creating values, what are your values? Because if I know what your values are, then I can speak to those values. And if I speak to the values that you have, then I will be valuable in your eyes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So where do values come from? That's the question. It's a great question. So I think values come from multiple places. I think number one, the first place that I think of that values come from past perceived voids. What does that mean? Things that you perceived as missing in the past are things that you value in the present. When I was a kid, we only had raggedy cars. Like my parents never bought a new car the whole time I lived in their house, ever. Like me and all of my 6 brothers were all graduated out of the house before my parents ever bought a new car.
Wow.
So
shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They had really good.
The Dave Ramsey model.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't really a Dave Ramsey model as much as it was, hey, this is what we can afford.
Yeah.
And so, so for me, I liked nice cars. My dad worked on cars. I worked on cars. I painted cars. I changed engines, transmissions, all that stuff, like working on cars all night long. And so I've done all of that stuff. And so I value cars. I like cars. I have very nice cars.
Yeah.
I have several. I shouldn't say many because I don't really have many, but I've got a Rolls-Royce Wraith. I've got a Mercedes GT63S, super fun car to drive. I've got a Mercedes GLE 53, and my favorite, and I'm not going to bring the Segways in because that's not a car, but my favorite car is my 1968 Pontiac GTO. I wanted that car. What's that?
Is it like it's in a great condition?
It's in great condition. It's not mint condition, but it will be when I get done with it.
Okay.
It's in really good condition though. But it's got a 400 4-barrel carburetor. It's just, it's the legit. And it's the car I desire. And it's a convertible. And I desired this car, like a good friend of mine, his brother had this car and I wanted to buy it from him. He'd never sell it to me when I was a teenager. I'm like, I want a Pontiac GTO, 68 GTO. Finally found one, bought it, and now I have it, right? And so, but why do I value cars so much? Because we never had nice cars, right? And so that to me was a past perceived void that creates a present pursued value, right? Another place that values come from is present perceived virtues create present pursued values. So things that we consider are good, to be good, are things that we value. We played golf yesterday, and I noticed that you have Mizuno irons. I have Mizuno irons. I have Mizuno irons and woods. So I have Mizuno, like the manufacturer of our golf clubs, Mizuno. Troy, he had Mizuno irons. I'm like, we're like the Mizuno band,
yeah,
right? Why do we? Because we value having nice golf clubs to hit our golf shots with, right? So regardless that's something that's virtuous to us.
I was gonna say regardless of the swing,
right? Regardless of the swing, yeah, regardless of the swing. Golf, like we want to have nice equipment to play this game with.
100.
Right? I took a picture of my golf bag yesterday and posted it on my Instagram story, my Superman bag, right? Why? I don't know, because it's cool. Like I think it's cool, right? And so as we look at like where do people's values come from, if I can figure out something that's been missing to your life in the past, and I can speak to that, you're going to value, and I can show you a connection between how you can fill that past void through this process, you're going to value this offer.
Yeah.
If I know what your current values are, like I know you're a father, I know you're a husband, I know that you are faith-based. If I can show you how my offer matches that internal virtue part of you, it's going to make you have more of an affinity towards my offer.
So good.
Right. And then lastly,
which I'll love I love that your brand did that.
Right.
Right. So like,
exactly.
So being who you were,
yes.
true to who you were, like you said, like
right.
what you value, you were just you.
Right.
And that attracted.
And I wasn't attempting to attract a bunch of people based on some words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm just going to be who I am and let it attract who it attracts and repel who it repels.
Right.
And I'm okay with both of those.
Yeah. So something I know that like I'm always marketing. So like the fact that I love golf, showing that I love golf, someone's going to join something or do something with me because of that connection.
Right.
You know, and like
somebody who loves golf is going to want to buy, like I came to San Diego. I'm like, well, Omar's in Las Vegas. How far is Las Vegas from San Diego? Right. He's like, it's a 40-minute flight. You want to come play some golf? Like, yeah. Like, right?
I was like, let me pray about it. Yes.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And like, if you wouldn't have been posting on your Instagram and on your YouTube that you play golf and your shorts and your, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
And so I would not, like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Right. But it just gives people
another
permission.
Point of connection.
Yes. And have the permission, like you're selling what, like, offer has a part of you in it.
Right.
But don't try to be somebody you're not.
Right. Yeah. Never do that. Like, don't adjust your beingness to attract a large audience. I'm going to be more like Myron Golden. I'm going to be more like Alex Ramosi. I'm going to be more like Omar. I'm going to be more like Sean. No, just be yourself and let it attract who it attracts, let it repel who it repels. Good. So we have past perceived voids. We have present perceived virtues. And then we have future pursued visions. Also create present pursued values. So an objective that I'd like to have in the future causes me to value certain things that I believe will get me there in the future. So anytime you create an offer, if you can combine all three of those values, past perceived voids, present perceived virtues, and future perceived visions into one offer, it becomes almost irresistible.
100.
So that's like, people don't know how to talk about their offer because they think they're supposed to talk about the thing.
Yeah.
This is how many pieces it has. It has 16 modules. It has 13 ebooks. It has, and so they think putting more stuff in it makes it more valuable. But the only thing that really makes it more valuable is you being able to demonstrate or show them that it can get them the result they've been seeking for a long time, even faster.
Yeah. It's something I have found with that, because I think amateur hours is that you are into the process and all the things.
And you have to have a process that works.
100. I found, and I think I have a question I'd love for you to give a good answer to is, and I'll say it after I say this. If you just give those things a name, this is something I learned from you. Just give it a name. Don't say what it is. Give it a name. This isn't the 16 module thing. No, you're going to get the jumpstart the 3 C's of that's giving something a name that connects to those 3 things.
Sure.
Lets people see it better.
Right.
How do you get better with words?
Read more, write more, speak more. Period. Listen to great speakers. Listen to people who are good with words. When somebody memorize quotes. See, you don't want to memorize quotes just so you can quote people. You want to memorize quotes to train your brain to think in quotes. A lot of people don't realize that, like, when you use epigrams, Abraham Lincoln said, "I will prepare myself and perhaps my time will come." Right? So the front end is preparing yourself. Why? Because the back end, your time's coming. Well, Myron Golden says your time's going to come whether you prepare yourself or not. If you're prepared when your time comes, it will reveal you. If you're not prepared, it will expose you. So now the choice is yours. Are you going to make your life a grand reveal, or is it going to be an expose? So what did I do? I took an Abraham Lincoln quote, but because I memorize a lot of quotes, I said, oh, well, I will prepare myself and perhaps my time will come. Well, that's not true. Your time's coming whether you're prepared or not. Why don't I just say that?
He didn't say it.
He didn't say it. Exactly. So I took an Abraham Lincoln quote that everybody knows and I expanded upon it.
Yeah.
And so when people hear me quote Abraham Lincoln and they hear me like make his quote better, I'm just using that as a terminology.
Yes.
Right. Obviously, Abraham Lincoln was way smarter than me, but I expanded on his incomplete thought. That's an incomplete thought. I will prepare myself and perhaps my time will come. It was an incomplete thought, probably something that he came up with when he was a child, or when he was a teenager, or when he was very, very young. I will prepare myself, and perhaps my time will come. That was as far ahead as he could think when he came up with that thought, and maybe he just never revisited it.
Yeah.
But as somebody who's older, who hears that quote, I'm like, well, your time's coming whether or not you're prepared, bro. And then I say, how can I address that? Oh, well, Myron Golden says your time's going to come whether you prepare yourself or not. Okay, what's the end of that? Oh, if you're prepared when your time comes, it will reveal you. What else could I say? Oh, if you're not prepared, it will expose you. And so what I've done is I've taken people through the entire gamut of this brilliant Genesis thought. I'm taking people through the entire gamut of the whole idea of preparing yourself for your time when it shows up.
So good. And it's made me memorize it. Like I could have finished all that for you.
Right. But that's the point.
Exactly.
Right? What happens when you memorize a lot of quotes, and I read quote books, then I take the quotes that I really like categorically and I memorize them so that I'm teaching my brain to think in befores and afters and in epigrams. And if this happens, then what about that? And on this side is this and on that side is that. And so all I'm doing is I'm using principles like the law of polarity. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when I talk about something, I don't just talk about the action. I also talk about the equal and opposite reaction. They're like, oh my goodness, I never heard anything like that before. Right. So that's how you get better at communicating.
So good.
You study it.
Right.
Like you study it and then you practice it the same way you get better at anything.
Yeah. I like to say, if you change the way you consume, you'll change the way you create.
Well,
that'll work, huh?
Well, that was a bar. See, I sound like a young guy, didn't I?
What does Myron Golden say about that? Finish it. No, I'm kidding. You have this really cool story where you've made, I think, over $3 billion from creating an offer. You say, you buy things with offers.
Yeah. It's $12 million.
Since flying private?
Yeah, $12 million.
Can you just break down that story? It's brilliant, and I know not everyone's heard it.
So I have a belief. I have multiple beliefs, but a belief around like how much things cost. I consider how much things cost before I buy them, but I'm never concerned about how much something costs, regardless of what it is. Mm-hmm. And so I discovered that poor people and middle class people feel like everything's expensive, because they think they're paying, they believe everything's expensive. Poor people and middle class people believe everything's expensive because they feel like they pay for everything with their life, because they are. If you're exchanging time for money and you're working for $15 an hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour, $300 an hour, you're exchanging time for money. Mm-hmm. Time is something you have in limited supply. So the money that you're going to get in exchange for that time is something you're going to get in limited supply, right? And so when a person who makes $50,000 a year, for instance, looks at a $50,000 car, they're not asking, is this car worth $50,000? They're asking, is this worth a year of my life?
Right.
Right. Because I'm going to take a year of my life and pay for this car. If they buy a $500,000 car, is this worth 10 years of my life? And we're not even talking about the interest. We're just talking about the principal, right? And we know they're going to pay 2 or 3 times more than that. Okay, cool. So now that we have our minds wrapped around this idea that they pay for things with their lives, wealthy creators like yourself and myself, we don't pay for things with money we've exchanged our time for. We pay for things according to our creativity. And really wrap your mind around what I just said. I didn't say with our creativity, from our creativity, or out of our creativity. I said according to our creativity. Why? If I paid for it with my creativity, from my creativity, or out of my creativity, I would have less creativity after I paid for it than I had before I paid for it.
Right.
But if I pay for it according to my creativity, then I can pay for it according to my creativity. I have no less creativity after I paid for it than I had before I paid for it. So I'm going to give you an illustration. So a person goes to work, they exchange the time they have now for the money they desire later. When they do that, they get the money, but they no longer have the time. The time is gone forever. They can't get the time back. The time's gone.
Right.
But they have the money. And then they go spend the money on a car. It could be anything, but I'm just going to call it a car. So they go exchange their time for money. They get the money. They no longer have the time. They go exchange the money for the car. Now they no longer have money and they no longer have the car. So every time they buy something, especially a depreciating liability like a car or a house or some clothes or whatever, they actually are becoming poorer by spending money, which is why so many middle class and poor people are price averse and spending averse. Okay. Now, I get ready to buy something. I pay for it according to my creativity. So I had an unpleasant experience. In fact, I had 2 very unpleasant experiences in 2022 with the "we will inconvenience you at our convenience" airlines. Which ones are they? All of them. All of the commercial airlines could change their name to "we will inconvenience you at our convenience." And so American Airlines, in a flight from Tampa to Dallas, and I was speaking the next day, so I flew to Dallas, and I was speaking at a real estate conference. They lost my suitcase with my suit and my clothes. And then I had to fill out this paperwork, and it didn't show up. And so I had to fill it out again when I got back to Tampa. And then a couple months later, they called me and said, "Hey, you need to fill out this form again, or you're never going to see your luggage." I said, "Well, I'm never going to see it again because I'm wasting any more time on this. I'm done." Right. And then a few weeks after that, the luggage shows up on my front porch. My favorite suit had mold growing on it. It was just like, this is so dumb. It was a nonstop flight. Right.
Crazy.
Right.
You know what you can do now though?
You can put air tags in.
There you go. Okay.
You can put air tag. Right. So I said, okay, cool. Yeah. That's done. Well, I don't have to do that now.
No.
Because it's on the plane with me. But the only person's luggage on that plane is mine and the people who are with me. Okay. So, and then it was my birthday, and I'm coming back from Cincinnati, Ohio, and my son rented a yacht for my birthday, and I'm getting ready to, like, this beautiful gift that my son is giving me. And our flight got delayed, which means we were missing our connecting flight, which means I was going to miss the yacht trip that my son planned for my birthday. I was over it. So I had to go to a different "we will inconvenience you at our convenience" airline, buy a whole different ticket for me and my team so we could get back from this event in Cincinnati. I'm like, I am done. I am never flying commercial again. I had never looked into flying private. I had no idea how much it costs. I just know I'm done. I'm done having people mess with my life. I'm done. And so I have a friend who had access to a jet. And I said, "Hey, Gary, I need a jet to fly to Las Vegas in 2 weeks," because I was doing an event in Las Vegas. I'm like, "Can you book a jet?" I'm thinking, it can't cost more than 25, 30 grand to fly a round trip from Tampa to, and I'm going to make, a significant amount of money while I'm there. So 25, 30 grand. Okay, I'm okay paying that.
Yeah.
Well, he said, "Yeah, but it's going to cost 60 grand. I said, "It's going to cost how much?" And it wasn't that I didn't have 60 grand. It was just, it shocked me that it was twice as much, more than 2 times as much as the low end of what I thought it was going to be. Right. It's like, what? And then he said, "Yeah, you got to put your big boy pants on if you're going to fly private." Then I got this crazy look on my, I only have big boy
He hit
pants.
that pass perceived.
Oh yeah. And so I said, "I only have big boy pants. Book the jet." And so we booked the jet. And so then I said, okay, so I can either take money that I already have and pay for this $60,000 for this jet, or I can create a new offer. So I created a new offer. It was $200,000. And I made the offer, and 2 people bought it. Okay, I just got paid $400,000 for, and so now I generate $400,000. I pay 60. I got $340,000 left over. I'm in the catbird seat.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just got paid $340,000, and I'm flying out here to Vegas. It's great, right?
I think people are probably like, that's awesome. Easy for you to say. You have people who will buy that.
But I didn't know that I had people who would buy it until I made the offer.
Boom. Okay. Just wanted to quiet the noise.
But, and that, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I also have a reputation of delivering on my promises.
Hey.
Right? I have a reputation of being a person of my word. If I tell you I'm going to do something, then you know it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's big. It's not, there's a reason that there are people who will pay me that money. Right? Okay, cool. My name is synonymous with certain results. Okay, cool. So then I thought, okay, this is cool. And then I also got paid from the event for half of my jet fee.
That's what's up.
Right. So I got another $30,000 from the event. So now I'm up $370,000 profit from that one trip. Okay, cool. I said, well, I got this offer. So here's the cool thing. Now, I created the offer according to my creativity. So when I created the offer, I now have both the creativity that I created the offer with, and I have the offer. So I still have both assets, right?
So good.
Then I make the offer. Somebody gives me money for the offer. They receive the value of the offer, but I still have the offer. And so now I have the creativity, I have the offer, and I have the money. oh, this is juicy.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, what's happening here? Oh, this is amazing. Then I bought the air card, the private jet card. So now I've got my 100 hours of private jet travel time. I bought a 50-hour card on light and a 50-hour card on heavy. So now I'm good. I got my cards, right? Well, I hadn't even bought those yet. So, but I bought my private jet travel. I'm like, okay, cool. I paid for that one flight. Cool. And I'm like, I need to make this offer some more. I still have the creativity. I still have the offer. I still have money left over from the money I spent. I said, let me make the offer again. So I made the offer to a room full of people. 16 more people bought it at $200,000. And I told them, this is the last time it'll ever be this price. You want to buy it in the future, it's going to be $350,000 to $500,000. So if you want to get it at $200,000, this is the time. So 16 people bought it. Well, I'd already done $400,000. Now we just did another $3.2 million in sales.
Crazy.
Like, wait, what? What just happened? So now, buy a couple of jet cards, buy 100 hours, so which cost me $775,000 out of the $3.2 million. And the first year of flying private, I spent $1.7 million on private jet travel my first year in 2022, or first half of 2022 to 2023, from summer of 2022 to summer of 2023. I spent $1.7 million, but I generated $3.9 million in revenue, which means I profited $2.2 million. That's how much profit I made.
Crazy.
Then I raised the price. We sold it for $350,000. We sold, 12 more, $350,000.
Wow.
So do the math on that.
It's just going crazy.
Yeah, it's going bananas. It's like whatever that is, 4.2 million. And then I took my $350,000 VIP day, put 4 of them together, turned it into a royal family offer, sell that for $1 million, and 3 people bought that. Plus, every time I'd go speak for somebody's event, I would charge them my jet fee. So that I could, because I'm buying these private jet cards for me and my family. Like, we're on vacation right now. We flew from Tampa to San Diego on a G5, and nobody was on the plane but us and the captain, the first officer, and the flight attendant, right? And so I bought my jet cards for that kind of travel. So when I'm going somewhere to speak at somebody's event, they have to pay for my jet fee, right? So that just becomes part of so I've generated a total of over $12 million, and I've spent less than $5 million, I think right around $4.7 million in private air travel since I got started. So my profit has been over $7 million that I've made because I had something that I desired to do, and I created an offer to pay for it. And so to me, when I buy a private jet card, or if I buy a new car, if I buy a house or an island or a mountain or whatever, a farm, whatever I'm going to spend my money on, everything costs the same amount. What do I mean by that? Well, because I don't pay for things with money I've exchanged my time for. I pay for things according to my creativity. Everything that I buy in my life, I buy by creating an offer. So it doesn't matter if it's a bottle of water, a pack of Tic Tacs, a pack of gum, a private jet, a Rolls Royce. It doesn't matter. They all cost the same amount. They cost me according to my creativity. But the beauty of it is, when I buy something, I create an offer, I have the creativity, I still have the offer, I get the money, I spend some of the money, I still have most of the money. Yep. And I still have the creativity. And when I decided to buy something that was outside of my spending comfort zone, this part a lot of people are going to miss, but I don't think you'll miss it. It gave me the ability to tap into a higher level of creativity than I'd ever tapped into before in my life. Because I asked better questions, I came up with better answers, and therefore created an offer that was more valuable to a handful of people than all the other little offers put together are to a big boatload of people.
So good. And then you say that, I mean, this is how the rich do, this is how they live.
Jeff Bezos created Amazon out of his brain.
Yeah.
Elon Musk created Tesla and SpaceX out of his brain. Steve Jobs came up with iPhone in his head. He's like, oh, this would be better. This is a solution, right? And he was just crazy enough. All of these people that I'm naming are just crazy enough to believe that their offer would impact people's lives in so many ways that those people would have a hard time saying no to the offer. And any of us could do that.
Right.
Most of us just don't.
So good. So if I were to like structure this conversation, it's like, this is very helpful in creating offers. But if we're speaking to like new entrepreneurs or content creators, selling the offer, creating the conditions or the context in which they buy the offer, because no one's going to buy necessarily that offer straight off the YouTube video or straight off your Instagram stories.
No, nobody's going to. No. So I like what Frank Kern says. Frank Kern says that you should prove to people that you can help them by actually helping them, right? So I think the reason you have your YouTube channel, the reason I have my YouTube channel, I call my YouTube channel, my Instagram, all of my social media stuff, I call that my community service content. This is the stuff that I put out there for free. Mm-hmm. And the only thing you have to pay for it with is your attention. And then go see if it works, right? I'm not worried about whether or not it works. I already know it works.
Yeah.
So I put out content that people don't have to pay for and that they don't have to pay for with money, but they can pay for it with their attention. I put that content out there for them. And then when they consume it and they go do it and they're like, wow, this worked. Their thought process, I believe, is if this guy taught me this much for free, I can't even begin to imagine how much he'll pay me. He'll teach me if I pay him. And so that's what people buy from me, because I've already helped them.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not everybody, but most of the people who buy from me, they buy from me because I've already helped them. Mm-hmm. So
I always like I like to think of it like, if you're influencing their human behavior, whether that's telling somebody to go buy something that even has nothing to do with you, but will make their life better, easier. Yep. They just made a connection psychologically in their brain to say like, dang, whatever comes out of this person's mouth makes my life better. Yeah. And is legit. So good. Okay. Can we talk a little bit about like fulfillment?
Sure.
So like, yeah, you're fulfilling, but more or less like defining what it could and should be.
Yeah. Ideally, fulfillment, worst case scenario, should be at least everything you told them that it would be. Ideally, it should be everything you told them that it would be and more. So, if your objective is getting the money, that's your primary objective, is getting the money, you're probably going to fudge on reality. And tell people things that will get them to say yes, even though you know they're not true.
I see it in the industry.
Because you know that if you told them the truth, they'd probably say no, which is a sign that you're using the people to love the money. I believe we're always going to be better off if we don't love the money, but we love the people. And we take it a step further and we use the money to love the people. Instead of using other people's money to love ourselves. My desire is always to get something to my clients. What I get from them is just a bonus. So if I tell you, with the skill set that you have, and I may have told you something like this. I don't even know if we talked before you joined I just saw you at our event. I was like, Omar's here? Wow. Okay. And so, but I knew based on what I had already seen of you, because I had been watching you for years on Think Media, right? I knew, man, if this guy learns what I'm about to teach him, $100,000 a day, $1 million a day is in his future, which I can perceive that. I couldn't necessarily tell you that, but I know for a fact that with the skill sets of attracting attention that you already have, your ability to attract assets to follow that attention, going to be a piece of cake. I knew that. And so everybody doesn't have the same thing to offer, but everybody has something to offer. If you can cook and you're really good at it, don't create content to teach people how to make money. If you can create money and if you know how to make money and you're good at it, don't create videos to teach people how to lose weight. Have the ability to fulfill on your promise of producing the result. Everything is about obsessing over the results of your clients and potential clients. That's where success really lies. You want to be great? Serve a lot of people. You want to be the greatest? Serve the most people. And the best way to do that is to serve them the things that they desire to be served instead of just serving them stuff you desire to serve them.
So good. Yeah, because I think when I'm trying to help friends that are new to this whole concept, I'll say like, dude, just charge more for your offer, and then they think that the more I charge, and I used to think this, the more I charge, the more I have to give.
Right.
So like, let's just say my offer is 8 weeks of Zoom calls, a call a week. That could be a $5,000 thing that I'm helping you achieve in 8 weeks, or a $2,000 thing, or a $1,000 thing. And I have friends having a hard time to say like, to just charge $5,000 for 8 Zoom calls. Like, I know it goes back to like their inability to really see the value of what they're helping somebody achieve.
I don't. It's not even so much their inability. I think it's their unawareness that seeing the value of what they're offering is the game. People are so used to exchanging time for money that when they step out of the arena of employment and into the arena of entrepreneurship, they're still selling their time for money. They're just selling a little bit less time for a little bit more money. That's why it's hard for them to charge $5,000 for 8 weeks. So instead of charging $5,000 for 8 weeks, don't charge $5,000 for 8 weeks. Charge $5,000 for XYZ outcome.
It's good.
And then produce that outcome in 8 weeks. So the 8 weeks are not the offer. The outcome is the offer.
Boom.
People don't care about, like, it's not about your pieces, how much stuff you have in it. It's not about your process, the 8 weeks, and we're going to do spreadsheets and Trello boards and Slack channels for 8 weeks and videos, Zoom videos. And it's not about your person, how much of your personal time they get. The only thing they care about is the payoff. Dude, I'm fat. When am I going to be skinny? Dude, I'm broke. When am I going to be rich? Dude, I don't know how to cook. When am I going to learn how to cook? Dude, I don't know how to play the guitar. When am I going to become fretboard fluent? Like, when am I going to have this result? And so it's not about putting more minutia. The more stuff you put in your offer that has nothing to do with getting the result, the further into the future you're pushing them getting that result.
That's good.
And the worse off your reputation is going to be, because it's taking people too long to get results if they get them at all. So when it comes to the value of an offer, more stuff in the offer is not better. Faster is better. Getting them the result faster is the only thing that matters. Does that make sense?
No, 100. Here's what you made me, because you told it to me once on a call, didn't really sit. And then at one of your events, I think last year, October, I asked the question, because you were talking about how you went on the road back in the day and you were doing the same presentation, and you realized like somebody was selling the same thing for more. And you're like, I'm just going to, the next city, I'm going to charge a little bit more. And then on the next city, and you started charging more for the same thing, and the same amount of people were buying.
More people were buying.
More people were buying.
More people were buying. And more people who would actually do the work were buying.
Yeah. But here's what you said, and this is where it clicked. You said, Omar, I'm going to give you a hypothetical offer. Hypothetical offer is, I'm going to show you make $10 million this year. It comes with 100 videos, 100-page PDF, and 100 audio files. It's $20,000. What do you think about that offer? I was like, that's pretty solid. Like $20K, make 10 mil. Amazing. He's like, I also have this other offer. You said, I have this other offer. It shows you how to make $10 million in a year. It's 30K or 35. It's one video, one PDF, one audio file. Which one would you rather? I was like, dang, man. It clicked. I was like,
it's like, oh, less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
And maybe there's a lot of mind or head to wrap around that whole concept. But the reality is, the more you help people, and the more you just put out offers and you help people and you help people, you actually get access to refinement, and you figure out, and I'm finding this, the veterans in our space are condensing the time of delivery in their offers, charging more.
Right.
And it's because they've arisen to the essentials that is needed in order to get that result.
They've taken out all the fluff, all the sawdust, all the filler, all the cereal, just the nutrients, just the valuable stuff. And what's interesting is, when you do this for a long enough time and you really obsess over helping other people solve their problems, and you're obsessed over your client's results more than your client's money, they're going to talk about you. And the stuff they're going to say is good. It's like really good. You probably, before you bought anything from me, you probably met some people who bought stuff from me, and they probably said, hey, yeah, I learned how to do XYZ from Myron Golden and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, really? Maybe that didn't happen.
That was Neo.
Okay. Okay. So that was Neo for you.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, really? Yeah, really. You're like, really? right? And it's because it doesn't seem to make sense,
Right.
right? When somebody tells you, yeah, I did what this guy said and I did XYZ result, you're like, what are you talking about, bro? Right? So what happens is when you, like, the greatest long tail marketing campaign you can have is to deliver on the promises. Because otherwise, all you're doing is creating an environment in which you are going to implode and people are going to celebrate.
Yikes. I mean, these online marketers, like it's.
Oh, bro, it's so like the number of scammers out there telling people they can do something they don't have any idea how to do, or telling people they're going to do something they have no intention of doing. So one of my pet peeves is I hate done for you offers.
Okay.
I hate them. Like, you pay me and I'll just build $1 million business for you. You pay me $30,000, I'll build $1 million business for you. First of all, the math and the logic of that promise are both way off. Like, scam alert should, like, all of your 7 scam alarms should go off in your brain when somebody says that to you. Well, at least for me, that's what they do. Because if you can build $1 million business, it's only $30,000. Why would you build it for me and not for you? That's costing you $970,000. That doesn't make sense. Why would you build that for me instead of building it for you? Like, first of all, somebody says, I'm going to do it for you. Now, if you're paying an agency to do a service for you, that's one thing. But somebody's telling you they're going to build $1 million business for you. My conclusion is always that they are lying. Because they're telling me something that goes against something that God already told me. And here's what the first thing that God ever said to a human being, I call it the first command, thousands of years before the 10 Commandments, was be fruitful, do multiply, do replenish, do subdue, and have dominion. Be, do, have, which means don't be, can't do, can't have. Be a little, do a little, have a little. Be a lot, do a lot, have a lot. So when you tell somebody, I'm going to do it for you, you're saying you can have the result without becoming the person who could do the thing. That is always a lie.
So good. I agree.
And so we have to obsess over 2 things. 1, our clients' results. 2, keeping our word. Become a person of your word. If you say you're going to do something and it inconveniences you, costs you money, causes you blood, sweat, and tears, do what you say you're going to do. Because the moment you lie, the moment you are dishonest with a client, you just demonstrated who you really are. And they will assume, either consciously or unconsciously, well, if you'll lie about anything, you'll lie about everything.
Yep.
And so once you become a liar in the minds of the marketplace, really hard to bounce back from.
For sure. And like, yeah, that's something that comes with a cost. Like, number one, that compounds. Like, you're a man of your word, you're a woman of your word. It compounds over time. Reputation is everything.
Everything.
And because I was in a season of testing stuff, there were a few like offers I tested. Honestly, I'm just like saying this straight up, where it didn't quite like work out well. Maybe it was a little bit thirsty on my end to even give an offer. It was like I was underselling myself and they thought it was awesome. And even got to the point where after like 6 months of like me, really, I took the ownership. Dude, I just gave them back their money. And I'm like, I'm okay with it. Cause like you have nothing bad to say. Cause we get, I
did all this work for you. I showed up and then it didn't work. I gave your money back. Good.
Yeah. And I don't know. I felt like that was good for my
100%.
Soul, like
100%. Because now you can look people in the eye and you don't have to look away, and you can be like, you can be just straightforward and transparent.
Something Macy and Kat said, the sales girls, they said fulfillment is part of the sales process.
100%.
And if you,
a very critical part.
Yeah.
If your internal reality does not match your external marketing and your promises, your business is going to implode. It's just a question of when.
So good. This is just really good. I feel like this was a masterclass. Can you encourage really quickly those? There's just a lot of people listening, I know, or watching this, and they're like, I could create the content. I'm still like, what's the biggest thing that you feel like those you say, like when you go to those like YouTube conferences, you're like, there's these kids who are like with these skills and they're running around and they don't even realize what
they don't even realize what they have. You have the attention of this many people and you have no earthly idea what to do with it. I think first and foremost, they have to divorce themselves from this idea that there's inherently something wrong with making an offer, or there's inherently something wrong with somebody paying you money, Like everything that we get, we paid money for.
100%.
Why would we expect for somebody to get something from us and not have to pay for it? It's so like Hollywood and the government has done such a great job since the 1970s of demonizing entrepreneurship and making people think that entrepreneurship, sales, and business are inherently evil endeavors, and somehow that entrepreneurship, sales, and business take so much from society that like the only way we can make amends for our evil ways is create stuff for people for free or give all our money away. It's insanical. It's just insanical. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are thinking insanical is not a word, I know I made it up. It is the offspring of insane and maniacal. So just in case somebody's thinking there's no such word as insanical, now you know where it came from. So,
I think really good people that mean well, even like believers,
sure,
they think it's service to not charge.
I think it's service to charge, because Jesus said the heart follows the pocketbook. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Your heart is going to follow your money. So be very intentional where you put your money, because your heart's going to be there soon.
Yeah.
And so one of the best things I ever do for my clients is charge them a lot of money to work with me.
Yep.
If you wouldn't have bought our $55,000 coaching program, how much less comfortable would you be charging somebody $10,000 or $20,000?
Oh no, I think I 10x'd my price after. Right. It gave me a conviction that allowed me to.
The pricing is something you do for your clients, not to them.
Yeah.
Like if I don't charge you enough, if I say, okay, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million, and all you have to do is pay me $37, your subconscious won't even let you work on that.
No.
Your subconscious says, but if it's worth $1 million, how comes he only charged me 37? We, all of us, and it doesn't matter whether this is right, wrong, or indifferent, this is the way it is. We all perceive things that cost more as being better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so be it.
Really good. I have one last personal question, business personal question.
Snap. Yeah, sure.
So like people have said like, bro, you need a low ticket community, something like, or low ticket, like $97 a month or whatever.
Sure. That's a great idea.
My issue is I have a hard time separating what like my current 17K offer is, the information, from what like I have a hard time separating information, and I'd rather just charge more for it, and help less people.
Sure,
but
there's that too. Yeah, it's not an either or. It can be a both and. It can be a both and. You could have a software that teaches people entry level stuff, or maybe it just teaches them tactical stuff, right? Or I'm sorry, a membership site, not a software, a membership site that teaches them tactical stuff about how to do video. So the membership teaches them the tactics, right? Now you can give the membership to the people who buy the $17,000 or $25,000 or $35,000 offer. You can give that to them as a bonus, but you still have the lower tiered offer. You could have a newsletter that teaches them tactical video stuff about tactical video growth strategies, right? So you could have a newsletter charge $97 a month. You could have a software program of some kind that you create, or an app that helps them edit videos without them having to use whatever, that it works on Androids and iPhones and iPads. So there are different ways you can do it. And then you charge them a monthly subscription for the software. So there are different ways you can create a subscription model. It's not a question of should I have premium value offers or continuity, have both. But when you sell the premium value offer, you could give the continuity to the people who, depending on what the continuity is, if it's software, I'd still charge them, right? If it's a newsletter, I might still charge them because it's going to be different, right? People are paying different prices for different mediums. Like what medium am I getting this information on? Because the information itself is just the information. Like it's interesting that, for instance, Russell Brunson, in his $50,000 inner circle, the information is the same as in expertsecrets.com, secrets and traffic secrets. So why would we pay $50,000 for the same information? Because it's in a different format that's in a more intimate setting and puts us in an environment around other like-minded people. So we're paying for more than just the information. We're also paying for the experience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so I don't think it has to be an either or. I think if you created a membership site that just taught tactical video stuff, and you taught more of the high level philosophical and sales and marketing video stuff in your high level program, I think you could do both equally as well and have 1,000 people paying you $100 a month, and that's 100,000 extra dollars a month coming in, which I know that's not going to make you rich and buy you a yacht and retire you in Venice, but it's a good start.
It is a good start. Oh, so good. Dude, thank you so much. This has been so enlightening, especially on the birthday.
Happy birthday to you, bro.
Yeah. Let's hit the links.
Oh, let's go play some golf, bro.
Yeah.
But if we're going out here and I'm from Tampa, this is cold.
Oh, you're cold.
What? Don't you feel like that's cold?
No, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's a breeze.
But if I'm outside, I'm going to have some long pants on or a jacket or something.
Okay. Oh, yeah, real quick. Tell them about your challenge. I think it's perfect. So, Make More Offers Challenge.
Oh, Make More Offers Challenge. And you can tell them the link, right?
Yeah, I'll put it in the description.
Okay, so he's going to put the link in the description. So I do a challenge every month. It's called the Make More Offers Challenge, where I teach people the 4 types of offers that can make you rich. And the beautiful part about it is each day I break down a different offer and a different way to make that offer. So we have lead generation offers, core product offers, premium value offers, continuity offers. And then the last day I put it all together, give everybody an outline that they can turn into a coaching program. It's a 5-day challenge. I have had doctors, attorneys, marketers, authors, speakers, coaches, podcasters,
W-2 employees,
all kinds of people who've taken this challenge, and they say it's one of the best experiences of their life. People are just blown away by it.
Yeah.
And the reason they're blown away by it is because I've literally spent the last several decades, 4 decades of my life, obsessing over solving people's business problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I kind of know some of the answers, and I share those answers with people, and they pay either $97 for general admission, which they get to watch it in a Facebook group, or they pay $297. They get to be actually on Zoom with me for 2 hours a day for 5 days in a row, and it just takes their life to another level.
Yeah. Are you not doing platinum anymore?
Oh, we do platinum too.
Yeah.
But you can only buy VIP or general admission. So, and then the VIPs get to listen to me answer the questions for platinums. And then a week before the challenge starts, we give the VIPs an opportunity to upgrade to platinum.
Okay.
So that's how we do it.
Okay.
5 days before the challenge starts, we send out an email to all the VIPs. Hey, if you want to be one of the people who asked Myron a question, then you get to upgrade. And so we have 3 levels: general admission, VIP, and platinum. We only allow 40 platinums per challenge, so that we can make sure we get at least everybody who's a platinum, we get at least to one of their questions.
Yes. So if you want, Myron, I don't think you don't avail yourself in any other context at this level other than the challenge.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could do a VIP day. If you want to just you could spend $40,000 an hour.
Yeah.
For coaching, or you can buy a whole VIP day for $350,000, or you can get 4 VIP days for $1 million, or you could attend the challenge.
Yeah, that's good. That's a deal right there.
I'm not vested in any particular one. Do the one that serves you at the highest level.
Yeah, it's really good.
And if you don't like any of those and you don't want to pay me any money, just watch my YouTube channel and just do what I say. Your life will get better.
Yes, that is very true. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, bro. That was great. That was so much fun. Happy birthday.
Hey.